Hey everybody, this is JMS Technical, and I'm talking today about something that's really near and dear to my heart, and something that I've been doing for quite a while. And a few people that I've spoken to said, you should really teach this stuff. You should really start talking about it because, there's a lot of people already doing this kind of a video, and I want to preface this by saying there are people out there who've been doing this longer than me and who are probably doing it better than me. But I wanted to start getting involved, and I wanted to give my 2 cents and start contributing to the community, because I think it's a really critical thing for people to start making a part of their life, and that is everyday carry philosophy and becoming, an everyday carry EDC, participant. And the reason I think it's so critical is because as we get busier, and life keeps getting busier for most of us, I think, what I notice is that little challenges, little situations, day-to-day annoyances, and what I call everyday crises, minor stuff. Not you got hit by a car, not you're about to give birth, not you broke your leg, minor challenges. I got a deep cut, from a piece of metal, or I have a really bad headache. A migraine can stop your day dead in its tracks. So what I'm talking about today is everyday carry philosophy regarding and revolving around minor crises and preparing for day-to-day life. And there's a few things I want to address. The first one is I want to address the difference between a prepper who is, maybe stockpiling food or supplies for what they perceive as an oncoming apocalypse, and an EDC person, because I think there's a really big misconception that everyone that puts a paracord bracelet around their wrist is expecting the world to come to an end, be it by disease, economic collapse, or zombies. And that's just not the case. I don't personally think the world is coming to an end. I think that there's going to be good times, there's going to be bad times. I think life is pretty steady moving if you think about the fact that, stuff happens, but on the other hand, there's days where nothing happens. And so everyday carry philosophy for me is, what do you do with the everyday challenges of life? Not apocalypse, not the world's coming to an end, not I broke my leg, like I said, just very basic stuff. So that's the difference between, in my mind, a prepper and an EDC person. An EDC person is preparing for normal life and just trying to do normal life a little bit better, whereas when you talk about, a prepper, and if you watch Doomsday Preppers and all those things, some of those people have incredible, caches of food and weapons and all this stuff. This is not about that. So if you're wanting to talk about how to prepare for the end of the world, or if you're wanting to learn about how to prepare for the end of the world, this is not going to be the video series for you. This video series is all about how to make day-to-day life easier by carrying a few extra things on you, or maybe even a lot of extra things on you, depending on what you can carry on you comfortably. And that's the next thing I want to talk about when it comes to everyday carry philosophy. It's a very custom thing. What is going to work for you is not going to necessarily work for you, the next guy down the line from you, and it's certainly not, something where what I'm telling you in these videos, I'm telling you because I believe what works for me is going to work for you. Everyone has to think this through for themselves. It's a very individual process. But on the tail end of that individual process really is the opportunity to have with you enough extra things that life's day-to-day stuff for you becomes very, very easy and very smooth. So, with that, there's a few things to consider. Number one, when it comes to everyday carry, for me, the biggest question is, what do you wear? Because if you're wearing a 3-piece suit every day, what you can carry comfortably on you is going to be very different than somebody who's running around in like cargo shorts or tactical pants, or even normal, jeans. What you can carry changes based on your wardrobe. So the first thing to really think about is, what do you carry, or what do you wear? So, for instance, myself, I do tend to wear cargo pants. I'm a technician, thus, JMS Technical, and as a technician, I don't have problems with pocket space. I have a lot of pocket space. I'm also a really big guy. I'm 6'2". I weigh over 300 pounds. I'm not bragging by any stretch, but what that means to me is what I can carry on me without looking silly is maybe more than somebody who was half my size wearing, very tight-fitting clothing or very tailored clothing could carry on them. So part of the consideration should always be, what do you wear and what can you fit comfortably on you? Because if it's not comfortable, you won't carry it every day. And that's really the biggest thing with everyday carry, is it must be consistent. If you don't keep the same set of tools with you most of the time, then when you need those tools, how will you know, you won't have them there when you need them. And beyond that, one of the biggest advantages to EDC, in my opinion, is if you carry the same stuff every day, you have a known set of tools that you can immediately sort of mentally index when a problem comes up and say, I have this, this, and this to help me deal with this problem. So, what should you carry on you? Really, it's a question of what happens to you day to day. The way that I figured out my EDC was very simple. I had sort of a two-stage process. The first stage was I had what I call the premise stage, where I had an idea in my head of these are the things I want to carry on me. And it was a pretty long list, and what I did was, for 30 days, I carried all of those things that I thought I needed. At the end of the 30 days, I had also made a list of all the things that I wished I had. And what I did was I sort of filtered down the stuff that I never took out of my pocket, and I got rid of those things, and I added all the things that I wished I had more than once. If it was a one-time occurrence or a fluke, maybe it wasn't a big deal. It's not something you need to keep all the time. On the other hand, there was a few things that came up repeatedly. And I was really surprised by that, because it had never occurred to me, hey, if I only had this on me, it would have actually made a big difference in my day. So, the other thing I want to talk about real quick before I end this video, and I'm going to be doing videos on the specific things that I carry. This is much more about the philosophy, is why should you EDC, a certain range of tools and helpful things to have on you. And my reason for that is because when it comes down to it, I think self-reliance is one of the most important responsibilities that we all have. Every one of us has to make our own money, every one of us has to have a place to live, and self-reliance is a great thing. And when it comes down to it, I think EDC really represents sort of another level of self-reliance. But it's also a really, really good way to make sure that the people around you can be somewhat taken care of. For example, I have a small first aid kit that I keep in my wallet, which I'm going to show you on a later video. And I mean, it's a small first aid kit, but I have Band-Aids on me. I have wet naps on me. And because I have those things on me, when I'm working in an environment where somebody else cuts themselves, I can just pull a Band-Aid out, hand it to them, and I can know that they're not being slowed down, which makes the job more efficient. It's also something that they're really going to appreciate. So there's a lot of, philosophically really good excuses to have a set of tools on you that you carry all the time. Again, if you have just a very basic toolkit that you keep with you and you use that stuff all the time, you're going to be slowed down less by life. And if there was no better reason to do it than to simply say it will get you back chunks of your life and your time, since time is, as we all know, the only thing we can't get back, if it's a time-saving exercise, it's worth doing. So that's sort of the reason why I think everyone should have some measure of EDC philosophy, and why I think they should do it. And that's really the end of this video. So, when it comes down to it, again, the bullet points that are really important is, number one, it should be a very custom set of tools that are, made for you. 2, it needs to be comfortable. It needs to be something you can keep on you all the time. And 3, the real reason to do it is, again, to have that self-reliance and that assurance to know that when all is said and done, you are not going to be caught off guard by basic life situations. Again, this is not going to protect you from really outlandish situations, but it's going to help you with your day-to-day life. So the next video is going to be a pocket dump. I'm going to show you everything I carry, and then videos after that will involve all the little pieces to that, and I'll break down each one for you and show you what I carry and why. And hopefully that'll give you guys some good ideas for your own EDC. Again, I would never assume that just because it works for me, it's going to necessarily work for you. So that's, the biggest thing to remember is I'm not producing these videos as, let's call it a how-to. Much more, I'm hoping that these will inspire you to think. I hope you'll leave comments and give me other ideas for good EDC tools, maybe that I haven't thought of that I could keep on me. And with that, I think everyone will benefit and hopefully learn and hopefully grow. So that's my 2 cents on EDC philosophy. Thank you very much for watching. I hope that you will share this with your friends. And like I said, in the next video, it'll be a lot more about what I carry. Thanks a lot.